Hey guys, what is up? This is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and in tonight's movie review, I'm going to be reviewing the 2017 comedy film, which I actually watched on Amazon earlier today, and I also have it on DVD too. And this review is on Girls Trip, released in the summer of 2017. Girls Trip is directed by Malcolm D. Lee and stars Regina Hall, Tiffany Haddish, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Queen Latifah. So in this movie, it's about four lifelong friends and they basically travel to New Orleans for a festival. And so when these four lifelong friends travel to New Orleans for the annual festival, sisterhoods are rekindled, wild sides are rediscovered, and there's enough dancing, drinking, brawling, and romancing to make the Big Easy blush. And of course we got a bunch of crazy shenanigans happening occasionally in some parts. But yeah, so I remember when this movie first came out in 2017, like during the summer of 2017 in July of that year. This movie did look pretty funny from the trailers, of course. I like when I first heard about this movie, it did look pretty funny from the advertising. And of course when I watched the TV commercials and trailers, it kind of interested me a little bit. But I never got a chance to watch this movie when it first came out, and plus I didn't get to see it in theaters either, since it was it was the start of my official introduction to seeing R-rated films in theaters. Like even after I saw Vacation in 2015, along with Steve Jobs and of course the first Deadpool, like yeah, because because that was during my early years when I started to go see R-rated films in theaters, but I never got to see this movie in theaters because I already mentioned it. But yeah, I actually got but recently, like earlier today, I rented this movie off of Amazon, like after getting this movie on DVD. And I gotta say, Girls Trip was actually an awesome movie, and this movie was also very hilarious too, because Tiffany Haddish's character was probably the most funniest part about this movie, because Tiffany Haddish's character, like she really made me laugh in this film, like yeah, because like she was definitely the funniest part about this movie, and yeah. And I gotta say, Malcolm D. Lee also does a good job directing this film, and yeah, so Malcolm D. Lee was the one who directed this film, and yeah, and also the music score composed by David Newman. David Newman's music score was also really good too. I think I gotta say David Newman's a very underrated composer. Like David Newman, who did the first Ice Age, and the following year in 2018, David Newman recently did the comedy film Night School with Kevin Hart, and also starring Tiffany Haddish. But yeah, I remember seeing Night School in theaters, and I thought that was a very funny movie. And but as for this movie, Girls Trip, I thought was an awesome, fun movie, and it was also very funny and hilarious too. And what I also really like about this movie is that it's basically original. It's basically original from it's act because it does face a lot of originality, and that's like that this movie was like never made before. And I do appreciate how this movie is being like an original comedy film that's not like something we've heard before. And yeah, and the performances too. The performances were actually spot on too. Like Mike Coulter from the MCU was also in this film. I thought he was good, and yeah, and of course the four main girls: Regina Hall, Tiffany Haddish, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Queen Latifah. They were all terrific in this film. They were great in the film, and the story itself I thought was good too. And yeah, and there are some times where the humor can get really hilarious, while at the same time it does get pretty raunchy. Because in terms of an R-rated comedy film about that wacky stick here and there, but it actually goes it actually goes way beyond from that, because this movie Girls Trip also has some pretty raunchy humor as well, because there is like a few naked bodies that are exposed in some scenes, including some genitalial like innuendos, like yeah. and and yeah, and plus there was also a scene in this film where when the girls were going on the zip line thing, when they like they go on this like little zip line to like the other building with the other people cheering and just like partying. But then, of course, Jada Pinkett Smith's character, she only went halfway through the zip line, and then of course, like she had to use the bathroom so bad, and it's like she couldn't hold it, and then of course, like Jada Pinkett Smith's character ends up urinating on everyone at the bottom, like, yeah, and of course, the crowd got disgusted by the urinating, like. And then Tiffany Haddish's character did the same thing too. Like her character also urinated on them as well. Like, I know it's weird. I know it's kind of weird and funny at the same time, but I know it's weird. It's just, but that's the point of this movie, of what makes this R-rated comedy film raunchy, but also like hilarious at the same time. And yeah. And the bonus features on the DVD include deleted scenes with commentary by director Malcolm D. Lee. Also features outtakes planning the trip, outrageous moments, and an extended performance of Because of You by Neo. And also a feature audio commentary with director Malcolm D. Lee. Also the ascents of Nola as well. And yeah. And of course, it was released by Universal Pictures and Perfect World Pictures, and yeah, and Will Packer Productions. Because yeah, Will Packer was the producer of this film, and that's why the company's named after him. Yeah. I'm glad that I watched this movie. And even Sean Edwards of Fox TV even calls this movie hilarious, the funniest movie of the year. Yeah. Couldn't really agree more. And so, and of course, like I said, the movie's rated R, and what makes it R-rated is that there's some crude and sexual content throughout, pervasive language, like vulgar language, and brief graphic nudity and drug material. And yeah, and of course, since this is like an African American comedy film, that there are some uses of the N-word, like the racial slur word, the N-word, like you guys know what I'm talking about. And yeah, but I gotta say, if you have parents around that won't let you watch this because of its topic, then this movie's probably not going to be for you. Even if it has some graphic nudity shown at some parts, including like some swearing and some racial slurs, the N-word, and then I'm gonna have to say this movie's probably not going to be for you. But that's the point, because I do get that this movie's not for everyone, because I know not everyone's gonna like this film, even though critics were pretty fascinated by the film. But for me, I liked it. I really enjoyed it. And of course, the runtime's only 2 hours and 2 minutes, and I gotta say, the pacing itself was actually well paced too, because I gotta say, it kind of almost went by pretty quick a little bit. It was well paced. I almost forgot to mention that. And yeah, so overall, Girls Trip was an awesome, hilarious comedy film from 2017, and I'm gonna give Girls Trip 4.5 out of 5 stars. But if you're comfortable enough watching this movie, and if you're interested in checking out this movie, then I recommend giving it a watch. Like, if you want to. So there you have it. All right, guys. So that's my review on Girls Trip. And that's going to be it for this video. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And as always, thanks for watching. And until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying goodbye, everybody, and that's about it.